G'day guys, time for another edition of the London session analysis videos. Now I hope you're all doing well and I hope you've had a good week. If you have done so, remember it is Friday, so just be careful, don't go over leveraging or do anything stupid on the last day of the week. Just stick to the plan and only take probable and quality setups. So without further ado, let's have a look at the analysis and let's start with GJ. I want to be a little bit quicker today. GJ weekly strong bullish, just the candle itself is forming strong bullish. The daily, the structure itself is bearish, but the way the actual micro trend within the overall structure on the daily is trending bullish. We've got higher lows, higher highs. The previous daily candle did close back bearish. Current daily candle has a lower high, lower low to the previous. I really need to pull back up that far into the previous candle. If we begin to break our own high, that could be potential sign that we will make a deep correction and potentially maybe even retest the high of that previous daily candle. It's just going to mark in a low off the current daily candle, because below that level we've got a clean candle to the left. If we begin to break that level, we see what we've got once we go down to 4 hour and M30. So we're bullish, but we're countered. But the micro trend within the actual structure itself is we're bearish, but the micro trend within the structure itself is technically bullish. Now onto the 4 hour time frame. And that is still, believe it or not, oh, it's a tough one, guys. Look, I'm going to call it bullish because we technically have closed above the swing point, which is that level just there. But really would prefer for it to close a little bit higher up, but nonetheless, it's technically closed above it. So therefore, I'm going to call it bullish. And what we can see is, on the way up, as we've seen on the daily, we're creating some higher lows, higher highs, that type of scenario. So what we've done is create an impulse to the upside, bit of consolidation, bit of a pullback, create another impulse. Now we're just consolidating again. Not as clean the traffic now though. The level we're at a pretty solid resistance, but the way we've been trending throughout the week, our last few days, suggests there is a good chance that if we begin to break above that, we will continue to the upside. So I think potential buys above the highs could be a pretty good option above the previous daily candles high. I'm going to mark in that level there. I'm going to mark in the most recent support as well. Above it, we've got a few levels to contend with. I'm just going to mark in that for the time being. To the downside, most recent support is that level there. We do have this level just here though, we've broken out of, so I'll mark in that as well. I'll just get rid of that one a bit lower down. But let's continue on to the M30. Bullish on a 4 hour M30 structure. Shift this across a little bit, need it up. Gonna do this for the time being. Alright, so that's the current daily candle's low. Let me just see if I can adjust this. I'm gonna bring it forward to the most recent support, that level. Alright, that needles it up a bit. And now what I'm gonna say is, one more, that will do. All right, so the M30, let's look at that. And that is now technically flipped bearish. But looks like that's a swing, that's a low, or actually flip back bullish there. Oh, it's technically bullish, to be honest. It's a tough one. Reason being, I mean, that was the high. Closed below, that was the low swing point. Obviously closed below it just here. Where was the last two consecutive more candle pull back prior to that move to the downside, albeit a very small move? It's just here. We've actually closed above it at this point here. So we're technically bullish until we actually close below now the wick here on this candle. Technically bullish in structure on the M30. Remove all that just now. So that gives us an overall bias of bullish on the 30-minute, bullish on the 4 hour, bullish on the weekly, and the daily structure was bearish but trending to the upside. So bias is to look for potential buys, not discounting the sells. Reason being, we've got some pretty clean track below the current daily candles low and using the counter probabilities on our side. So that's the confluence we're going to add. And if we close below, we're going to flip the structure back bearish. So for me, sells below that support formed right near the current daily candles low, you'd likely be entering below the current daily candles low, so you're waiting for closures below that level, tap in, rejection, take it back down, clear traffic to the left. As for the buys, at this stage, pull back to form support, look for your catalyst at support. Further buy options on a closure above the previous, around the previous daily candles high, entertain buys at that point there, and also trade the range as per usual. We've just been consolidating in this range, find it hard to break above it. So it's a pretty strong level by the looks of it. If we tap in, reject, you guys know what to do. Look for your signals at resistance to sell it from around that 186 flat sort of level. That is GJ. On to gold. Quickly do the analysis. So weekly is now weak bearish, still has lower high, lower low, which is going to mark in the current weekly candles high. Then we have been pulling back a fair bit. No need to break it because we have lower high, lower low. We'll see what we've got above it in case it does break it, because it could be options. Maybe not. Looking at the daily. Daily, the structure is bullish. Previous daily close bullish, long indecision week to either side. Tough what to make of that. Got to mark in the current daily candles low. Things got no lick and see what we've got below that point there. Could be potential entry points for a sell. All right, so the 4 hour, the structure on that is still technically bearish as well. Are up near a resistance just now. As soon as we break this resistance, we run into another one. So buyers, in my opinion, are going to be very difficult at this stage. Likely going to be looking for potential sell options. That is, again, that line is the current daily candles low. We'll see what we've got below it. That's the most recent support below the current level. So we're out of a resistance just now. Are we going to tap back into it? M30. Let me just adjust this along just now. All right, let's need all this up to the upside. It's just going to have to do for the time being. Buyers are going to be difficult. You can just tell. Buyers, I mean, you could drag that up a little bit, and that's the cleanest point, really. Once it starts to pop up 2046.685, it's a fair way to go. So, yeah, I'd probably rather get buyers from a little bit lower down. The M30 structure is also bearish, so the bias is to look for sells. Now, that is upon the daily cranks all week, that horizontal line just there. What we're going to do is mark in some areas of support on the minor time frames, seeing around a 4 hour resistance. Gold looks right for sells. Because what we're doing is we've obviously created an impulse down, ready to move up, and now we're starting to slow down yet again towards that resistance. On the way up, we form support at multiple levels. Form support just here, form support just here. Current daily candle low is just there. So what we should do is, if we are to continue bullish, come back down, form another support, potentially head back up, and maybe even pull back up higher. Excuse the drawing, but you guys get the drift. Seeing we've created that support, there is no need, again, like I said, if we were to continue bullish, to break it. If we do break it, they provide entry points for the sell options. So it could be either A, below 2033, or B, closure below 2030, tap back in, rejection. So they're your two options, in my opinion, to look for sells. Further sell options, because it's still going to be technically, well, actually, am I saying this and be wrong, guys? I've just noticed it's actually flip bullish, because we do have a pullback just here. But irrespective of that, I'd still rather sell it just the level we're at. It may provide options though to buy it. Yeah, I'm not so keen on the buyers. Sells, I would still like to sell it higher up too if it taps in. Rejections like what we've had over here in the past to the left. So form support, starts to pop a lot. I'd also look to sell it from higher up as well. So if, just going to mark in options for now. So sells from below the resistance. Definitely be looking at sells. Now, further sell options below the support formed at this point here. Technically a structural flip back bearish at that point there. So I prefer to sell it, in all honesty, guys, to where the level it's at. But let's just say it pulls up, creates a move, taps in, rejects, pops back down, forms another support, makes a relatively clean move. Seeing we've got a bit of volume about to come in shortly with EU and London Open. And come close into NY, we're back at support. That would provide options for buys at that point there. But otherwise, I would prefer to look for my potential sells at the moment. Having said that, don't be fixated on a bias. Be fluid. So if the options present for a potential buy, there is no reason not to, as long as it's at the level that you've predetermined to be, that you want to get involved in a buy, which for me would be around at 2033.5. Only after it's done what I've wanted it to do. If it is to be the case, yes, you can be picky. I want it to pop up, pop back down, then buy it, not just now for pop back down. Not anyway, maybe close to London Open, but it's just consolidating, so there's nothing just yet. So that'd be the options for me. Further sells from below 2030, as I mentioned before, And again, could potentially look to buy it from that point there, and would have technically flipped back bearish. I'd rather just be patient with it and look for the potential sell options if it did provide. That is the analysis on gold. GU looks very similar to gold. Likely going to be the same idea on GU. Just quickly look at it. So yeah, so GU is now looking a little bit cleaner. I mean, again, just a lazy approach on GU. Breaks above that resistance. What we can see is we've got some clean traffic to the left. So definitely I'd be looking for the buys above that point there. Makes perfect sense to me. On continuation. The M30 is still technically bearish, believe it or not, this whole time, still bearish. Low hasn't closed above that resistance. That's at a key level. So as far as sell options, guys, I mean, could be some really nice sell options to come on GU, because as long as we remain below this wick, we're bearish. So as long as pretty much we remain below this resistance, we're bearish in the M30. Form support, I would probably drag it down to this level here. Be cleanable at level there. So I would say potential sells below that level there. It's likely to be the current daily. No, it's not quite the current daily candles low. Let's mark that in as well. Current daily has a high low, high high to the previous. So now got a bit of clean move traffic to the upside. So if we do pop above that 127,840, that could be potential level to look to buy it. Quickly look at the bias the structure. A weekly is strong bullish, so that looks good for further buy options. Daily is also bullish, kind of probabilities upside. Long wick to the downside, so just grab liquidity, have a high low, high high. Grab liquidity at previous support, high low, high high. The current candle does still look like we've got room to the upside. 4-hour structure is flip back bullish by the looks of it. Yep, so the 4 hours bullish. And we've got clean traffic to the upside, so the M30 is the only time frame bearish. I don't mind GU today, it looks a lot better, guys. So buys above the highs, point continuation, clean traffic to the left. Obviously, you're going to be targeting these points over here to the left hand side, previous levels of resistance within price action. There can be some decent targets. So for the sells, I like for it to pop out of this consolidation below 127,656, tap in, rejection, and I'll look to sell it back down. But seeing, I would, again, it's going to technically, well, it's still going to be bearish as long as it remains really below this resistance. But seeing the way the current weekly candle is forming, I would still look to see where we form support within the candle on the minor time frames, the most recent day, which is today and yesterday's, sorry. And we've got, in my opinion, potential buys. If we pull up and respect these levels, then buys would make sense as well. It'd make a lot of sense to look for the buy options. If it starts to pop below, then obviously the sells will present. So GU's looking a lot better in my opinion today. Current area I'd just avoid. It's just consolidating. There's not enough margin within it. That's what I'd be looking at on GU. And last but not least, let's have a look at NAS. Alright, so let's do the top down analysis quickly. Weekly forming strong bullish, high high, high low to the previous, pretty much engulfing but not quite without that resistance. Daily structure is still technically bullish. Previous daily, a little bit of an indecision candle, pretty much tapped into that resistance in the long week in our direction. Absolutely no volume within the current daily candle. I'm not going to mark anything just yet. The 4-hour structure is still technically bearish. A long way to go to flip. Form the resistance at previous resistance. So just consolidate. That is not looking good. I think that's off the back of CPI from yesterday. So we'll adjust this when we go down to M30. 4-hour structure is technically bearish at a resistance, just consolidating, very little volume as to be expected. M30, just drag this across and could move that down a little bit. M30 structure is technically bearish. Alright, so this is now starting to paint a clearer picture. We've got support formed within the current daily candle. This is the current daily candle's low. Below it, we've got some clean traffic to the left. We are technically bearish. We are at a resistance. High time frame resistance consolidating at that level. So as soon as we start to pop below it, I would definitely be interested in my sell options. So sells below 16,778.55. The current daily would be breaking its own low. Previous daily was an indecision candle. Can't take much out of that. So the current daily it's up in the air still. Further sell options, obviously on a deeper pullback, 16,860, around that sort of level for rejects, and a little bit higher. Just look for your calcium price action to sell back down as well at that resistance. Going to be tough to buy into it. Obviously, last thing we want to do is buy into resistance, sell into support. So that is pretty much what I've been looking at on NAS at the moment. Having said that, what I would like to see for buyers is if it does now just make a clean move. I'm not interested in buying it just now. Let's just consolidate. Let it make the move, come back down, and then perhaps NY, if we're back near the support, playing within a cleaner traffic, that could be your next buy option. So we could put that in, but yeah, you guys get the picture anyway. Don't really need to put in. And also for buy options from lower down if it does pull back, form support. But at that point there, since pull back a bit further, you want a little bit more structure to form at that level. You gotta buy it. Some high lows, higher highs, that type of scenario. That's what I'll be looking at today, guys. So trade safe. Once again, it is Friday. Don't do anything stupid. I hope you've had a good week. And I will catch you next week. Have a good weekend, guys. Hit the like button way out. And I appreciate you all. Cheers and bye for now.